Do more by doing less. With me, Charles Alexander, for small business owners, startups, and busy folks.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
So it's been about a year or so, but I remember I had this 1 week that was the absolute week from hell. And by the week from hell, I mean, more of a first world problem sort of way that if I had to explain to somebody that was poor in a third world country, they would punch me in the face. Nothing tragic happened, but I had all these little frustrating experiences with business coaching and explainer videos and even at home. For example, my laptop, it decided to take a cat nap in the middle of the week. You ever have your laptop go dead on you? Oh my gosh, it's the worst thing in the world. And I had 1,000 things to do and I couldn't catch up, couldn't figure it out. Get your new laptop, try to get everything moved over. What did you save in the cloud? It's bad. I have a retirement package. The retirement package was getting moved to a new custodian. No big deal. You have to pick either A or B. All right, well, I picked A. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the retirement gods moved it to B. I didn't want it to be. So that spent hours and hours and hours on the phone trying to get it moved back over to A. And when that's your quote unquote life savings, that is nerve wracking. Oh, by the way, in the explainer video side of the world, I had a client that after created a script, even started the video, they wanted to go back and rewrite the script all over again, which is not a thing. I had a voiceover artist who did the voiceover and I paid them, and then they wouldn't send me the voiceover and tried to hijack the whole thing and make me pay them more money. And I also had a good client where I created a video. I outsourced it. And the client somehow saw the video before I did, and it was not ready for prime time, and they were not happy, and they shouldn't have been. Even at home, I had all these little issues. I had these brand new, beautiful windows in my house, all triple pane. And one of them somehow magically got mold in the dead center. I don't know how that even happens. I have a pool, and I had a leak in my pool. And by a leak, I mean I had 7 leaks in the pool. By the way, when you want to keep a pool clean and they give you the cleaning product, make sure you mix it up real well and just don't dump it in blindly like I tend to. And even with my kiddos, one of them had a school teacher that would lose my kids' homework. And no, I'm not one of these parents that blames the teacher for everything. I know there's been a big shift and parents don't hold kids accountable. But look, my kid turns her homework in. I watch her do it. I know she took it to school. She comes home without it, and the teacher gives her zeros because, teacher lost the homework again and again. It wasn't just ours, it was several of them. It's frustrating. And that was just a few things. It's one of those weeks that just makes you kind of want to give up, makes you think, why am I even trying to do anything on my own? I should just go to work for somebody else full time, never try to do anything else and just let the chips fall where they may. Now, fortunately for me, several years ago, got into a little bit of group coaching and learned about the value of win stacking. Win stacking, as silly as it sounds, is just as it sounds, where you take all of your wins and you write them down. I like to do this on a weekly basis. I'm part of a group where we write down what we intend to do for the week. And at the end of the week, no matter what happens, you write down the good things that happened. I know that sounds a little cheesy, and I know people will get down on it and say, well, I'm more about counting the things that really matter. Look, I'm not a participation trophy kind of guy. I know what you're talking about. I don't think everybody needs a blue ribbon for everything they do, but sometimes I need a pat on the back, even if I got to be the one that gives it to myself. So you have to write down what has gone right in your world, because if you don't, you can only see the bad things. And that's kind of how our brains are trained for whatever your belief system is, whether you come at it from a religious point of view, a caveman point of view, somewhere in between, to the great spaghetti monster. We're always looking for the quote unquote saber-toothed tiger. There's a reason that the human can see more shades of green than any other animal, because we're always looking for predators. That's, by the way, why I don't spend a bunch of time on Facebook or anywhere else, because doom scrolling can tend to do that more to you. But as you stack those wins, you're training your brain and your mind to look for more wins, to show you that things are not just okay, but there's a lot of good things going out there. Going to the concept of why we're here, do more by doing less. This is something you need to be doing more of so you can do less uh, worrying about things that don't matter. And after you develop these habits, it builds confidence in you. So, what do you need to be doing in this case? First, when you have a bad day or even a bad week, don't let it get beyond that into the next week. Stop what you're doing, write down write down the bad things that happened, and then you can decide, were they really that bad? Do you have a way out of them? A little trick Napoleon Hill, old motivational speaker author, used to do was to create what's the worst case scenario if this happens, and you'll realize that, well, the worst case scenario may not be that bad. And the second step is to start writing down, well, what's all the wins, what's all the things that went well, give you a little progress for the things that did well throughout the course of that week. Like now, I recorded podcasts episodes. I've sold videos. I've got people in the coaching program. And when I look at my wins, it makes me remember what the good things are. Looking back at that point, what were my wins that I stacked up that week? For me, that week, I had outsourced some stuff to my VA that I hadn't done before. I sold a giant video package. Back then when I was trying to publish my book, I got a lot of the writing done with it. I got started with the process of even creating this podcast all the way back then. And then other things. Looked within my family. Lily had auditioned, my middle child, for a solo, and she got it. And my little buddy Lane went to football practice. He didn't even have a game that week, but he caught everything thrown his way. And then my oldest daughter, Ava, snuggled up to me on the couch so we could watch Harry Potter again, something that we don't normally get to do. And even me and Sarah, we had just celebrated our 20th anniversary, and we just got back from this gorgeous vacation to San Diego and San Francisco, and we got to do all the fun things we planned. By focusing on those positive things, I got to celebrate my wins and shift my mindset toward more growth. And that mental shift helps you, do a ton of stuff, maintain motivation, navigate challenges, stay happy when a lot of other folks are not. So take a moment, pause, reflect. Remember, there's always something to be grateful for. Clients of mine, I can see them coming in with a bad week sometimes when we have these group sessions and we sit down and talk. They had a lead that they've been working on forever that just kind of disappeared on them. They had a client that they've had a great relationship forever that something just went south out of the clear blue. They had an employee that didn't show up. They had technology issues. They've had problems at home. First thing we always do is stop what we're doing, pause, and write down the bad things that happen, and then win stack. And as long as you can keep into that habit and keep telling yourself and reinforcing the belief that good things will happen, I know, sounds woo-woo, but that'll be exactly what you start getting. Your brain will start looking for those things. So as of today, writing down all of the positive things that have happened, and I'm ending it with a win of creating this podcast just for you. Don't take off just yet. I've created a new program just for you, helping overworked entrepreneurs create their very own 4-day work week in 90 days or less. Look, if you'd rather spend more time with family, friends, traveling, exercising, having the time to do what you want instead of, putting out never-ending fires, tackling another to-do list, and checking email at 9 p.m., then go to my website, yourcharlesalexander.com. If you've created the income you want but don't have the time freedom you deserve, then this is for you. And as always, if you don't, an angel may actually lose its wings. True story. Have a great day.